It's your man Jay Gray's Report, and welcome to the College Football Weekly Wrap-Up, Week 2, presented by your good neighbor, State Farm agent, Ravi R. Murray, located 3955 Eagle Creek Parkway, Indianapolis, or hit your boy up at 317-297-3804 so you can holler at your boy. Now, y'all know how we get it in, so let's get it in. Wrapping up the top 5 ball games of the weekend, so let's get right to it. Now, first ball game, let's go out to Northeast Ohio. Hey, this ball game, you got Howard going out to play Kent State. Now, I told you boys going into this ball game that Howard was going to go out here and wet the bed. And they completely wet the bed. Here's the deal. They went out, in case you've been sleeping under a rock for the past couple of weeks, Howard went out to UNLV. Week 1 pulled off the biggest upset in college football history from a statistical standpoint. They were a 45-point underdog going into the ball game, ended up winning 43-40. Now, huge upset. So now all of a sudden these Duns went from nobody knowing their names to all of a sudden they the biggest show in town. ESPN coming in, interviewing boys. Everybody want to put them on TV, walking around, patting them on the back, knocking on their door, telling them how good they are. All of a sudden the Dun that was dating a 2, now all of a sudden dating a 10. Dunn was dating Alice the Goon 2 weeks ago. Now all of a sudden Dunn got Beyonce on his arm. You can't handle that. Between ages of 18 and 22, that's too much pressure for a boy. That's too much change for a boy in 1 week. Now all of a sudden you got to play a ball game the following week. They showing up to practice, ain't had practicing. Not listening to the coaches, because they got this 10 on their arm. They've been dating 2s, I told you. Everybody tell them how good they are. So they show up. They play a decent ball game, lose 38-31. They didn't get the brakes beat off of them. But the fact that you beat UNLV the week before, and then you show up at Kent State and lose, is dumb. Hey, all of a sudden, don't do a boy like that. Just go ahead and lose 2 weeks in a row. Don't pull the biggest upset in college football history, and then all of a sudden you can't show up and beat Kent State. Look, Kalen Newton, that Dun that didn't walk to class all week. They've been riding him around like Pharaoh. So you knew they weren't going to win this ball game. Let's move on to the next ball game. You got number 13, Auburn. Goes down to Death Valley to play number 3, Clemson. Now, this is defending national champ Clemson. Now, I get it. They don't have Deshaun Watson, but they got a cat named Kelly Bryant. Went to work on these boys. Ran for 2 touchdowns. Had 181 in the air. Another 59 on the ground. Clemson is stockpiled. They got real ball players. But they're over here on the other side, Auburn. Every year, like I told you in the preview, Auburn's going to lose this ball game. Why? Because Auburn every year is always ranked higher than they should be. Right now, they ranked 13th. They shouldn't even be in the top 25. Give it about 2 or 3 weeks. These Duns will not be in the top 25. We won't hear nothing about them, and we won't have to talk about them anymore. Let's move on to the next ball game. We got number 14, Stanford. Goes out to play number 6, USC. Now, I picked Stanford to win this ball game because I figured normally USC come out the gate slow, fall apart early, and then they end up winning 8 or 9 straight. This time they coming out the gate looking good. They look like the number 16. They beat the brakes off David Shaw and company 42-24. My man Sam Donald went to work on these boys. Had 316 yards, 4 touchdowns. They put up a total of 623 yards of total offense on Stanford. Beat the brakes off of them. They had put up another 307 on the ground. The most dominating we've seen USC in a long time. Boys putting in work. And now USC has broken a 3-game losing streak to these boys. So now they might have a little bit more confidence. We might see both these teams again later in the season in the Pac-12 championship. Your man, I'm telling you, this might happen. This just might happen. Let's move on to the next ball game. Now, we got number 15, Georgia. Goes up to play number 24, Notre Dame. Now, Brian Kelly come out there with the hot pockets on. That Dun got the hot pockets right now, bro. He was already on the hot seat. Now he lose this ball game. Hey, his pants on fire. He got the hot pockets for real. But I got to give Georgia mad respect right now for coming out of the South and playing a football game. See, that's the problem I got with a lot of cats in the U.S. in the SEC. The SEC talk about how dominant they are all the time, but if you notice, duns like Alabama, Georgia, etc., they never leave the South to play a football game. This is the first time that Georgia has left the South to play a football game since 1965. They came up to play Michigan in Ann Arbor. Now, what kind of foolishness is that? They hiding it. Every year they playing Georgia Southern, Troy State, somebody like that, and never leave the South, always playing in the confines of the South. Come on up north and play. So the fact that they came on up north and played, they caught a boy on the hot seat and they beat him. Hey, Notre Dame was in complete control for a minute. They were up with 3:39 left in the ball game. All of a sudden, a dun named Rodrigo Blankenship. Now, he don't know whether he want to be Latino or Italian. That dun hits a field goal and they go up 2019 and never relinquish it. Here's the deal. The leprechaun, they've been hiding him out in the field house for the past couple of weeks. Don't let him out. Notre Dame was up 13-10 at the half. All of a sudden, the leprechaun Jimmy the Lock run out on the field with the pointed toe shoes and mess everything up. Notre Dame loses another ball game. Now, I gotta defend Brian Kelly in the press conference. Everybody dogging him out, talking about how he was grumpy and he went at the reporter wrong. Let's keep it real all the way 100, whichever comes first. The reporter asked a dumb question. That is, Sales 101, never ask a question that there is no answer to. Never ask a question you know a boy is not going to answer. So when she started asking him, you changed the culture around here, but you still lost. First of all, you started off wrong. Because now you ran up your boy's leg and irritated the mess out of him because you ask him a question you know he's not going to answer. He goes, what's the question? Well, since you changed the culture, but there's no difference. What's the difference? Ain't nothing changed. Come on, man. You aggravating the guy now. You don't ask that question because he's not going to answer it. Doesn't matter what you think. He's not going to answer it. So it's a stupid question. Let's move on to the next ball game. Now, big ball game out in Ohio Stadium. You got number 5, Oklahoma, goes out to play number 2, Ohio State. Now, I picked Ohio State to win this ball game simply because they were at the crib. Not because I thought Ohio State was better, because I saw Ohio State a couple of weeks ago against Indiana, looked horrible. Their defensive secondary was trash, and again last night, the defensive secondary was trash. You had a cat named Baker Mayfield come in the joint, put up 386 yards, 3 touchdowns. He went to work on it with a freshman running back, Trey Sermon, who went to work, had 62 yards. Then you had a plethora, let me say that again, a plethora of wide receivers. Flowers, Baddock, and Lamb went to work on these boys. But what I love most about this ball game last night was the fact that Baker Mayfield took the doggone Oklahoma flag and started running around, running around the stadium. Then he planted that joint right on the O. The beautiful thing about it is Oklahoma and Ohio State aren't in the same conference, bruh. That means they probably won't play another home and away for another 30, 40 years. So the fact that Baker Mayfield planted the flag on them means that that's going to stand in infamy for a long time. Boys going to be upset about it. So another 30 years from now when they play, Baker Mayfield be an old man with a gut sitting out there laughing. Hey, before I get out of here, I got to comment on my man, James Franklin. James Franklin pulled a G move at the end of the game last night when they asked him about beating Pitt. They said, well, last year when Pitt beat us, that was like them being in a Super Bowl. But we just won this ball game. That's like us beating Akron. Hey, that was a G move all day. I got no problem with him saying it because in competition, I love a boy that talk a little trash and have a little swagger about himself. Because that's just what it is. And you got to remember, James Franklin and Penn State got a chip on their shoulder right now because they got screwed out of playing for a national championship last year because they won the Big Ten and they put Ohio State in because Ohio State ended up beating them. But now This cat got a whole lot to prove, and he ain't taking no mess, and he got a boulder sitting on his shoulder right now, and I got no problem with him talking a little trash. Talk trash all the way through the season, James Franklin. You got all the cats, all the hood dwellers and former hood dwellers in your corner. It's your man, Jay Graves Report, from the JGravesReport.com, or you can hit me up on Twitter at JGravesReport so you can holler at your boy. And also remember that this segment is presented by your good neighbor State Farm agent Ravi R. Murray, located 3955 Eagle Creek Parkway, Indianapolis, or hit your boy up at 317-297-3804 so you can holler at your